How's it going?
Hey, Riddler was popping.
You know, just trying to kill Batman. Oh man, what a thrill.
No, thanks for coming over to the table.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Alrighty.
Was this a character that, like, you were interested in voicing, or did they approach you for the character?
Yeah. Is this a character that what?
Did they approach you for the Riddler? Or
They did. They approached me for the Riddler. I was a fan of the Hush storyline, and when I found out that I was going to get to play the Riddler, I was very excited. He's a small part, but he plays such a big part of getting all these bad guys together. So it's like, and this story's so cool. It's like it gives us the romantic Batman that we've kind of wanted to see with Selina Kyle. It gives us the emotional pulling back to his childhood. I mean, it puts him on the ropes. It's always good to see Batman falter a little bit, you know? He's such a sociopath. He's usually like so like, to see him get nervous is really, really fun.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah.
Me too. I actually that's the best part of the story, I think. He's actually, you got this one guy finally, a step ahead of the guy that always preps.
He's always prepped, and he's always like focused, and like the kiss with Catwoman, not to spoil anything, but like it throws him. It's like if you're on your job and you're thinking about like, the burgeoning love in your life and you're Batman, it's one thing if you're like, just doing a regular job, but if you're like on the edge of a rooftop, and you're like, you should be focused on the bad guys and you're thinking about a kiss, that's a big chink in the armor,
He's busy him beating on Joker, like just thinking about like, damn, that kiss is so
Yeah, totally. Oh no, I killed him.
So you said you were familiar with this story. Were you a Batman reader?
Yeah. I mean, I've, it's funny. It's like I grew up reading all of it as a kid, and then I was like, when graphic novels started coming back, and really like so many DC and Marvel started printing graphic novels, I got back into that. But it's so expensive, physical stuff, and then Comixology comes out, and you can get everything digitally. I just sort of dove back into it. So I caught Hush, Court of Owls, all like the recent storylines through digital format, which is awesome. It's really cool to have now. And then of course, like the Warner Brothers animation is the best, and getting to see all these storylines come out in such a good way. Like this movie, if it was live action, I keep saying it'd be like a $500 million movie. The size of like the cast, the set pieces, and they do it right. They're one of the only people that do these animations right.
Agreed, 100%. Because the other publishers, let's not mention them, kind of very weak.
Yeah, they don't even really try. And you see, and maybe it's because these guys are killing it so hard.
That's the whole thing. Yeah. Although they may lead in the other field of film, let's
Sure,
say,
but
cartoons, they're not beating.
It's a seesaw. Maybe it'll come back because growing up, there was nothing cooler than the Tim Burton Batmans.
Yeah, right.
There was Superman 1978 was still brings a tear to my eyes when I see the credits come up. Like these movies, Warner Brothers was at the forefront. I mean, DC was at the forefront of this superhero explosion. I mean, Marvel kind of took over, but Wonder Woman was amazing.
They took over only when it became the studios, not the enterprises.
Yeah, exactly.
Enterprises is horrible.
Yeah, I agree.
So you're a seasoned comic reader. Do you have any favorite Riddler stories?
I would have to say, I can't. I'm drawing a blank. I can't really think of one, but I will say that the animated series Riddler was my favorite iteration of the Riddler. John Glover's like take on it, the real like pushing into the cerebral aspect of who the Riddler is, and that sort of upper class, I'm smarter than you are, and I'm toying with you because, but also respect for Batman. I thought that was incredible. I mean, I thought the whole animated series arcs on all the villains. There's nothing more iconic than Mark Hamill's Joker, and Kevin playing Batman. It's like those voices still ring in my head. Like those are. It's a dope.
Is that your approach to Riddler? Like, did you have John Glover in your mind when you were like looking at the scenes to voice?
It was impossible for me not to think of him. I went back and watched a lot of it because like the Blu-rays came out, and like I mean I have like the original. My dad used to tape them on like we had one of those TVs for some reason with like a Sony Hi8 like mini cassette recorder. So he recorded all of them on these like little micro cassettes that only play in that TV, you know. So we would just rewatch them over and over and over again. So it was impossible for me not to think of Glover, but I also had this like fear that I was going to screw it up. So I was trying to like respect him, respect Gorshin even, like going back and seeing that stuff, and then let it all go and just come at it from a more, I guess, a modern place. Like my Riddler is really, really focused on Batman. I feel like he wants to be Batman, you know? He matches him wits-wise, intelligence-wise, but physically he can never live up, and I feel like that's his source of, like, angst and villainy and anger. He wants Batman to see him and respect him, but he also kind of wishes he wasn't such a nerd, you know? And I think that's where I'm coming from with that, yeah.
Do you think Riddler is the most fun Batman villain to play?
I mean, I think this Riddler in Hush, I think honestly, and not just because I'm playing it, it is the most fun I could think of getting to play, you know? I mean, not to spoil anything, but we take him to a lot of different places, even though he's such a small part. But, you know, the Joker, you know, if you put a gun to my head, you know, the Joker is just, and Mark Hamill's the Joker. I don't even know how you would approach, you know, it's amazing what they've done. We've seen so many different Jokers and they're all amazing, but it's like Mark Hamill lives on in my head as the Joker, you know, such a fun part.
Is there a DC story you would like to see Warner Brothers adapt and
Totally.
which
I
character?
mean, I just like recently the Court of Owls. That's such a cool arc, you know? I love the idea of going into Gotham's history, of going into like the Illuminati aspects of what made this major city. Like it's so rife for like storytelling, and in this format, I think.
And who would you like to play in Court of Owls?
I mean, look, everybody wants to play Batman. There's no better character than playing Batman because he's the hero and he's also a sociopath. So it's like you get to play both sides, you know?
Yeah.
And in that particular story, he's like, he's in such trouble too, you know? It's so cool. But yeah, I would love, I mean, honestly, just being a part of this universe has been such a thrill. I'd do anything they asked, any character. Yeah. So.
Which is the one voice that you love to do? The one voice.
The one
Other than
voice?
Joker, the one voice.
Batman.
Just Batman.
Batman.
No one else.
I mean, the one.
Okay, let's do the second one. Second voice. The second pick.
Second pick?
Second pick.
Oh, man. Second pick would be Mr. Freeze because everything he comes from is like from love, but he's filled with so much hate. It's such a
You react these deeply emotional ones.
Yeah, he's so deeply emotional.
Awesome. Thank you, Riddler.
Thanks a lot.